Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. Story time. So next week I'm playing with this idea that I've had on how to do videos and kind of this format that I wanted to try out, and I've been talking about it for a couple years now, and just this idea on how I want to do videos in the future. To make up for the lack of videos for the past 2 weeks, I did want to test out this format and kind of have a little fun with it. To set up those videos, I did want to share a story on something that happened to me some years back. I was living in Michigan at the time. I was staying with my friend in his apartment and working a job with him at a car factory. And we worked overnights and we got off of work around 5 a.m. So we would sit in the McDonald's and wait for the first bus of the day to come so we can take the bus as close to home as possible, or as close to his apartment building as possible. So this particular day, me and my friend, it's been a long night of just work, and we're both really tired and we're kind of done, you know? And we're sitting on the bus, just kind of wiped out, really looking forward to getting home and just relaxing for a bit, getting some sleep before having to start all over again, right? And as we're getting closer, my friend looks up and he's like, I forgot the apartment keys in the apartment. So understandably, my friend was not looking forward to the idea of being locked out of the apartment during the day when that's our time to sleep and get ready. And I simply looked at him, and being tired, I just looked at him and I was like, don't worry, the Force will provide. And of course he dismissed that. He was like, yeah, whatever, that's real helpful, right? And he's like, so what are we gonna do? We need to think of something to do in order to, how are we gonna resolve this situation? And I was like, well, let's just get there and then we'll go from there. So we're sitting on the bus. I mean, there's nothing to be done, right? We get off the bus, we're walking into the apartment complex. It's a big complex. And my friend sees this guy walking across the parking lot. And he looks at me and he's like, dude, that's the apartment manager. And I was like, okay. And he's like, no, he has the keys to all the apartments, he can let us in. I was like, oh, you think he will? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, you know, go ask him. Let's see, you know, like, check it out. Let's see. And he runs up to him, and sure enough, the guy remembers him and from paying rent, of course, you know. And so he's like, yeah, I'll let you in, get into the apartment. And he looks at me when we get in. He's like, it happened, man. It's happened. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, you said the Force will provide, and it did. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I never see the apartment manager unless it's rent day, unless rent is due and it's time to be in the office that week, maybe, then, you know, that's the only time I've ever seen him. And here we are, middle of the month, and we're locked out of the apartment, and he just happens to be walking by on that day. Man, you said on the bus, the Force will provide, and it did. His takeaway from that incident was that the Force, the universe, a godhead, had taken a vested interest out of the 7 billion people alive on the planet at that time, taken a vested interest in our minimal situation and provided a solution to our problem. But when I said the Force will provide, one, I was thinking specifically of Qui-Gon Jinn.
Don't worry, the Force will guide us.
Was an acknowledgement of our situation, where we were at, and that as a Jedi, you trust kind of in your training and your experiences in the world, and you just allow that to play out to the next step forward. So instead, and being tired, I didn't have the energy to waste on all that stuff. The Force will provide. We will figure this out. When we get there, we'll get there, and we'll find a way forward from there. We'll survive. We'll be able to move forward. Now, who knows? Maybe you take something different away from that story. Maybe you are like my friend, and you feel it is a sign of the Force playing a part if you just trust it. Look, trust the process, that's what I say. But, you know, take from it what you will. Just wanted to share that story. All next week, we're gonna have some videos, and they kind of will, in my mind at least, will be drawn back to that story. So, as always, thank you for watching. You know where the buttons are. You can like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe, block, ban, whatever. Hit the little bell notification. Whatever makes you happy. May the Force be with you. Have anything for the end screen?
Where is it going?
Don't worry. The Force will guide us.
Oh, Maxie bit the Force.
There's always a bigger fish.